Don't mind me, I'm just I'm eating, so yeah.
What are you eating, Camel?
I shouldn't say, but hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos, like spicy Cheetos, or you microwave
Yeah.
the Cheetos?
No, spicy Cheetos. They're not hot enough.
Flaming hot Cheetos.
Dude, are you like strike breaking right now? Isn't there like a Nabisco or like Frito-Lay strike or some shit going on right now?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh! Well, it's a good thing I have a fucking muffin here too.
Hi, welcome to our podcast, Barely Even
Yeah,
Friends.
cancel it out. Barely even friends, who's just breaking strikes right and left.
Yeah,
Strike at the Nabisco factory.
Exactly.
He suddenly gets a craving for Oreos.
Camel's a real piece of shit like that, ignoring the plight of the working. What kind of left unity is this? Where's the solidarity, Camel?
Cheetos are delicious. Well, I mean, they're not actually that good, but you know.
They're not that good, yeah.
People out here love
I
fucking
guess I
flaming hot
always thought
Cheetos.
Ruffles. Ruffles were fucking disgusting. I don't know how people can eat them.
Yeah, I think they're disgusting too.
There has to be at least one good potato chip.
I don't know, I'm not into potato chip much, to be honest.
I mean, potatoes themselves are pretty good. So how do they go from
The
something
problem
that's
is, like,
good
all the
to just
potato companies are.
What?
I was gonna say, all the potato chip companies are owned by Frito-Lay's, basically. So one company.
Yeah. So how the fuck do they go from potatoes, which are delicious and good and healthy and yummy, tasty and useful, to like potato chips like Ruffles that suck balls or ass, one or the other. You know?
They gotta make them as cheap and everlasting as possible, and addictive. So they're not maximizing goodness, unfortunately. Feels bad.
Yeah, they're maximizing addictiveness.
Damn, we're getting to the socioeconomic conditions behind why fucking potato chips suck so much.
Yup. Dude, it's all capitalism.
Do you think Marx would have done this, like, if he was alive today?
Hell yeah, dude. All the time. But I mean, yeah, because the profit interest of the Frito-Lay owners. It's true, though, and it's the same shit with the internet. Like, always the free services are amazing. Like the Groovy Bot and Reddit when it started and shit like that. And then you start to commercialize it, and then the private equity people, the owners and shit, gradually turning it into shit. Because they know that they're just basically cannibalizing the company.
Soon Discord's gonna be like that.
What's that? Discord? Yeah, probably.
Discord's gonna be like that. Yeah.
They do it with fucking everything. It sucks. Just trying to squeeze a little bit of profit out of it, even if you make it shittier, and then they just keep going and going and going until it's shit.
Exactly. So, that was a nice little introduction to what I complained about capitalism.
What's up?
We could talk. We're gonna.
Rhythm has ended its service, but this isn't the end for us.
This isn't the end.
What's that?
You want to? You guys want to talk about the Haitian refugees on the Texas border?
Fuck, I don't pay enough attention to the news.
Long story short, there was a refugee camp on the Texas border. Border Patrol went out there with whips and horses. So, and then proceeded to send them all back to Haiti. And then thinking about sending some of them to Guantanamo Bay, then... the story gets better, Camel. The problem was the horses, so the Biden administration banned... I'm not... the Biden administration banned the Border Patrol from riding horses.
So... Did you say whips and horses?
yes,
Yeah,
I did.
dude, they went full, like, Django Unchained. on the Haitian refugees. It's insane.
And who is this?
Dressed
Border
as-
Patrol
it-
or what?
It was like Border Patrol dressed as like cowboys.
Yeah, Border Patrol.
Like, literally dressed like cowboys with cowboy hats and shit and whips. They just went around and rounded up the Haitian migrants
What the
and
fuck?
pushed them back to Mexico across the river.
Man, Haitians are fucking base though.
Dude,
the
it's
hell?
just Biden out Trumping Trump, essentially.
Yeah.
They don't want to be seen weak on the border.
Pretty fucked.
Yeah, it's racist as fuck too. Like fucking going out there with slaves, a horseback. I mean, the whips making them seem like bringing back the days of slavery.
Yeah. Camel, did you see the Wall Street Journal article about Xi Jinping pressing the socialism button?
I heard that he was doing something about this place called what, Evergreen or something?
That's a different
yeah,
page.
no.
Everdong? I don't know.
Evergrande.
Evergrande. There we go.
Yeah, I think it was partly about that. But they were just freaking the fuck out about how Xi Jinping was like dragging down capitalism and going back to the Maoist legacy or whatever. It was base as fuck. But they were trying to fearmonger, but it just made the whole thing sound so epic.
Revolutionary Xi Jinping is most
Yup.
unbased. He wants to oppress all the capitalists. What the hell is downloading?
Pretty much, yeah.
So I told someone that
yeah.
Western free healthcare is funded by the exploitation of third world countries, and this guy's like, "Wait, what? How?" Time to hit
I
him
mean,
with
the whole
facts.
economy is, so.
Mhm.
That's pretty funny, though.
That's why I went to the grocery store earlier and got 50 cent avocados. So thank you, drug cartels and Mexican labor for picking those. Thank you, U.S. imperialism.
Fuck.
Literally.
Healthcare's paid
Wait,
for.
Camel, that was IRL? You told someone that IRL?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean on Discord, but like a different Discord that isn't left-right.
Gotcha. It's crazy how people don't know these basic things. It's just they don't teach anything in U.S. schools. I don't know what the fuck you guys learn, dude.
America's based. as
America's
fuck.
great. We never
won
did
the
anything
space
wrong.
race.
Slavery was an accident.
Yeah, slavery was an accident.
Slavery was an accident. They just sort of tripped and fell into slavery.
Yeah. Whoops. Sorry about that, guys. Just kind of, you know. But thankfully, we fought a war.
The founding fathers wanted to.
We fought a
The
war
states'
about
rights to own
states' rights,
slaves.
by the way. But no, about states' rights.
The states'
And
rights to own
somehow, at
slaves.
the end of that war, slavery was illegal. Shh. We don't talk about that.
Oh, you know what's what I remember too about school is they talk about how great the Missouri Compromise was and like the 35th Compromise was, how they kept the Union together and like prevented the Civil War, but they kept slavery.
Yeah, so it didn't actually prevent anything. It just kind of delayed it for a while.
Yeah, because the whole point was they were always going to, apparently, they always say that the Founding Fathers wanted to get rid of slavery, but they just kept kicking it down the road.
Yeah, but they're... Yeah, like a bunch of fucking namby-pambies, because they were like, but my profits! My profits! Give me my profits! Please! I have to have my
I don't want
profits.
to. I don't want to go. I don't want to pay these people or do housework.
Yeah, the fuck? That means I lose... Yeah, that means I lose money and have to do things. And I'd rather, fucking smoke a shit ton of tobacco and get free sex all the time whenever I want.
And then whip some black dudes when you're bored.
Yeah, like, that's the most, that's American. That's American now there, brother.
Oh yeah, so China banned cryptocurrency transactions. They made all transactions illegal in China.
That's so fucking base. That's so fucking base.
I don't even give a shit about cryptocurrency. It's all a fucking joke.
Dude, it just literally destroys the earth. It produces nothing. Just consumes electricity.
Yeah, it's money, but even faker.
Yeah, it's not even fun. Like, it doesn't even give me video games, dude. Like, what the fuck? Seriously, like, think about all the fucking graphics cards that could have been used for, like, video games or for science or something. Because, you can use graphics cards to, like, do, scientific calculations.
Yes.
In, like, shitty fucking...
You're like science is second to your video games?
Well, yeah, because usually you would expect scientists to have, like, really high-end equipment that blows, like, a fucking...
Why would you expect that in the US? They don't get money.
Water, but, I mean, they get it from fucking...
they don't fucking fund scientists here.
Yeah, they...
Sure, they do.
The universities have to get funding from private companies
a little bit.
or the government, so you have to get grants.
Uh-huh.
So fun fact,
exactly.
all the science is usually
grant
pretty biased in America, because... Yeah.
Yep.
You usually have to get your money from, like, some business.
Which is why...
Or, like, some major corporation looking for results.
I think during or after the revolution, we need to find all the Bitcoin miners, put them in re-education camps, and then take their Bitcoin mining rigs and distribute the graphics cards to fucking poor-ass scientists who are just trying to do their fucking shit, And then they can all, like, collectively use this electrical power to just unlock the secrets of the universe. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Or why do they just start mining crypto themselves?
But yeah, I was watching a video and they were talking... That's true, the scientists would just start mining crypto. I was listening to a video and they were talking... They'll join... Yeah, the camps will just keep growing. See, Camel reads Bookchin and then turns into Stalin, dude. I don't get it.
It's a Stalinist.
I read Bookchin like a year ago. I need to keep reading them though. I haven't actually. I like some of his earlier essays, like 70s and 80s stuff. But like in the 90s, he just becomes like a deranged madman, just sitting in his fucking castle or something.
Oh, really?
Wasn't it in the 70s?
He hated anarchists so much.
Wasn't it 70s, 80s when he was an anarchist?
Well, I mean, he always was, but he hated like all the other anarchists because they're a bunch of like hyper individualistic fucking super Western
lifestylists.
Yeah, lifestylists. There we go. Whereas like the anarchists of like fucking Machno or like Catalonia were considerably more based because they weren't a bunch of like lifestylists. They actually went out and like...
You always forget... everyone forgets about the Korean anarchists.
Yeah, everyone does. I don't even know anything about them. Fuck. I bet Wikipedia doesn't either.
Yeah, they do. There's a whole Wikipedia article about the Korean anarchists and Manchuria. They had a gift economy and like the whole 9 yards. Then Imperial Japan came along and, destroyed that shit.
Yeah.
Sounds like a familiar story.
Yeah, I know. That's the one thing I struggle with anarchism, is that a lot of these people are like get really emotional about it, and I'm like, but that's the issue. I mean, yeah, okay, get emotional about it, like get angry and shit, but like now we have to figure out what to do, like
right
against that.
What then? Yeah.
What is to be done?
What is to be fucking done?
Shit. Oh, yes.
The specter of communists is haunting.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait till Halloween, man.
Why Halloween?
Huh?
Why Halloween?
So
He's
I
gonna
can dress
dress up
as
as
the Spectre
Marx
of
and say the
Funny.
N-word to some Jewish people.
Don't do it, dude. It's not good.
That's Marx like calling Jewish
never
people the
said that.
N-word.
Yeah, legit, Marx did that. It's fucking crazy. He's canceled now. No more Marx. We're burning all of
No
his
more
books
Marx.
tomorrow.
Marx is over. Someone informed China that Marx is over.
That's okay. They still have Mao.
They have to take that painting down of him.
Oh, Camel, do you know about Gabby Petito?
Petito?
Petito, yeah.
Is she actually dead? Like, was that actually her body found?
Yeah, they found the body
Jesus Christ.
in Wyoming.
Oh, fuck.
Dude, he did it. He did it.
100% he did it.
Yeah, 100% did it. I promise you that.
Why do you think he fucking ran away when he came back?
Oh, and by the way,
Yep.
when he left, he didn't even bring his wallet or his phone or some other shit. So he has no identification. There you go. And then they can't fucking track him if he makes any calls. And he has to rely on cash.
It's probably in Mexico by now. Or in Cuba.
Hello, comrades. I'm just a good old American communist. You look a lot like this
I'm
guy.
here to join the
FBI's been
revolution.
looking for. It's like, I don't know about that. I don't know who that is. I've never heard of him. Heard of who? That guy. Do you even know his name? He's fucking send it back. Because Cubans ain't stupid. They'll fucking do it.
Yeah, probably just send him right back.
I fucking bet they would. Because, you know, I feel like a Cuban government just doesn't really take shit from dumbasses. And dude, I bet people fucking go down there all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's like, oh, I'm a real communist, and then Cuba's just like, okay, dude. Alright, I'll be right back. I have to make a cigarette. I have an addiction problem.
Smoking is bad for you.
Problem.
Don't do it, kids.
Yeah, don't do cigarettes, dude. Just vape or some shit.
We don't even know how bad vaping is for you yet.
True, but we know how bad cigarette is, and it's hard to match that, dude.
It's very true, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get to that point.
Cigarettes are super fucking bad for you.
really have to try hard to be as bad as fucking cigarettes.
I think it'd be easier to ban cigarettes, like, than drugs,
Than
because
what?
tobacco only grows in, like, a certain area of the world. Like, in certain regions.
Oh. Yeah, that's true. I don't know, it's just tobacco's such
And,
a
like,
bad
it's
drug.
pretty much grown in the US,
It's
China,
so
and, like,
much
parts of
fun to ban
Africa. It is.
We should ban it, dude. Ban tobacco.
We should.
Tobacco's
Exactly.
canceled.
It's killed too many of the whites. Think about the white genocide from smoking.
Dude, wasn't Svesta coming?
Yeah, I guess he's watching Infrared now with his friend. He's trying to red pill.
What's that?
He's trying to red pill his friend on communism with Infrared.
Dude, I
I
understand
think
half of what you said.
Infrared's like a certain. Oh. That's just trying to red pill his friend with Infrared on communism.
Oh, they're still watching Infrared?
Yeah.
Lols. Infrared is
I think
pretty
Infrared's-
entertaining, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he's pretty wild, but it's kind of like a acquired taste, I think.
Yeah, he is wild. It's like a little unhinged, but in a good way.
I don't think you're going to convert someone with communism if they were a liberal with, like, showing them Infrared right away.
Yeah, if you were a liberal, probably not. I don't know, maybe though.
I think Infrared's better at probably converting, like, more, like, right-wing people. because he likes to be. He has the whole "I'm strong"
Yeah,
thing.
right wingers. Yeah. It's true.
That's why Vesda loves him. Vesda loves big,
He also
strong
hates
dudes.
liberals.
It's leftist too.
He hates leftists and liberals, true, but he's kind of like socially conservative too, so it makes sense he'd appeal more to the right wing people.
It's really weird because I think the left has a weird. Well, there's an issue. Like, what do you do with people who support like left wing economics but are very socially conservative?
To be honest, I don't see the issue that much as long as it's like in the way like Haas is, where he doesn't want to overturn any of the, like, he still wants to expand civil rights, even though he's socially conservative. So for me, that's not really a problem. I think the problem is if you want to ban abortion,
like social conservative for yourself.
Exactly, yeah. Like, if your main agenda is pushing social conservatism, then fuck that. But if you're just socially conservative yourself, but your main agenda is economic, then fuck yeah, join the left.
Yeah, but the whole right of the U.S. has a weird thing where, it just depends. Like, you don't want to like compromise certain groups in the left by trying to appeal to the right, like especially the vulnerable minorities.
Yeah, exactly. But as long as you're doing that, because like Haas hasn't, as far as I've seen, he hasn't really compromised on that in terms of his messaging. So if you're not compromising on that either, or you're anti-imperialism, then it seems like a personal thing.
What I've noticed is most people don't actually like people. Like a lot of people on the left, like liberals and stuff, they don't really give a shit about like culture war stuff, and they just let the party decide, and party and activists decide whatever, and they just follow the lead.
Yeah, so I mean that's sort of the same thing with. Honestly, I think that's the main, like, with a lot of these cultural issues that the narrative of politics focuses on, most people don't really care that much about them. I don't think. They're just literally doing what you're doing. They're just following the signs, what the leaders are saying. But if you had a program that actually addresses people's needs, then they would sort of be open to it, regardless of the social and cultural preferences, as long as you're not pushing that. So that's why I don't see a problem with it. And it's also why the U.S. pushed like the ID poll to start with, because they knew it would work against the left, because you could split, people across different lines than just class. Same thing the Black Panthers were saying.
I think the whole thing doesn't really matter, because most of these identities are all social constructs and can easily be changed after like a couple of generations, like within a generation, to be honest. It just depends on like education and like more or less propaganda.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I think like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
I was reading like a study showing that most people don't even care about a lot of issues, and they just change their opinions based on whatever their party says.
Dude, 100% I buy that. I don't think people's beliefs are that strongly held in general about most things, unless it's stuff that affects them personally. So that's why organizing along class lines is in theory so effective. Is because that's something that affects everyone personally, versus these other issues only affect some people personally.
I think one of the main drivers with civil rights was the whole like television being invented, because a lot of people see the more brutality of the systems in the South and segregation.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I think now with media, like you can spread messages so much quicker than before, and it kind of speeds things up.
And visually too.
Yeah, visually too.
yeah, because a lot of the abolitionists started getting a lot more support
You know,
when
now think
pictures
about
and like books were getting pictures and books were being written about slavery in the South, like the brutality of the institution.
And also, like, consider how quickly the George Floyd protests started up right after his death. You know, because so many people saw that on live streams and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's about effective messaging. From like a cultural standpoint, like a flashpoint. Because the whole Arab Spring started with a dude setting himself on fire in Tunisia or Algeria, one of the two.
Could have sworn it was maybe Tunisia. Not sure.
I think it's Tunisia, yeah. His like one act of protest sparked like massive a massive uprising throughout the whole Middle East. So I think in theory you could actually use Facebook and other like social media to do like more organization and actually spark, so more or less recreate the things that happened during the Arab Spring, where you had a lot of like protests and like organization against the regimes. That's why like afterwards so many places cracked down on social media. And I think that's also the main reason why Facebook supports so heavily the right wing and allows for so much misinformation.
Yeah.
More or less, you kind of want to keep everyone.
So, would social media be brought under the wing of the state? Kind of like how, I guess in the Communist Manifesto, Marx talked about like bringing communications and stuff under the state, rather than it being just distributed privately.
Isn't social media are pretty much communications, like in everything? It's a tool of propaganda. But would you want
it should be
the state controlling? Yeah.
It should be at least regulated and partly owned and controlled by the state.
Yeah.
So you could have other sectors too to balance it out.
Yeah.
Well, I think the only issue with that is it would cause, like, since it'd be partially owned by the state, it wouldn't be used in other countries. So more fragment the global society again.
Well, you could, I don't know. I think it would be cool to create like some form of either one that's global, even if it doesn't replace the national ones. Like you create one that's in like a UN social media, dude. And that all the governments are somehow involved in regulating. Or you could also just make it partly private and allow people from, or just keep it public, but allow people from other countries to join your network if it's large enough. I don't know.
I think it depends on how heavy the censorship and control of the other country is. Of like the system, if people want to be involved with it from other areas.
What's that?
I think it involves how much control the state has in the whole system, if people want to be involved with it from like other countries.
Right, that's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. But you could leave it open, up to them.
Because I don't see like a lot of because I don't see a lot of Westerners on Chinese social medias. Mainly because I'm not on Chinese social media as well.
Right.
Because like they have their own separate ecosystem from everyone else in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, there are ways of joining.
It's both a good and a bad thing. Are you going to join Chinese Twitter?
It's not out of bounds. It's just kind of hard to get to. What's that?
Are you going to join Chinese Twitter?
I mean, if I was able to read and write in Mandarin, then yeah, I probably would do it.
You wouldn't even need to read and write in Mandarin. You just need to read and write in Chinese.
Right, in Chinese, yeah.
Yeah,
like
because
if I was able to communicate in Chinese, then yeah, I would join Chinese Twitter for sure, dude. That would be. Imagine how much content is on Chinese Twitter, dude. It's 1.4 billion people.
Think about it. Okay, so in China, right? They might have a bunch of different languages, but they use the same written language and
Right.
it works across all the different languages because it's pictographic or something, and it's not, or maybe it's like logographic. It's not like an alphabet.
Yeah, I should have said Chinese, not Mandarin.
Yeah. But like that is fucking cool. I don't know. I just like that about Chinese. It's fucking awesome.
It is a cool language. I need
Because
to learn
you
it.
can have people who don't even speak the same language, but they can communicate to each other through text.
Right. I think it's.
I kind of like how
Yeah.
it's like Europe with the whole Romance languages, since they're all based in heavily based on Latin. They have a lot of intercommunication between the languages.
Well,
Like someone who
kind
speaks
of, but
like people who speak
not really.
Spanish can understand French and Italian.
It's not really the same, because if you were to only learn to read and write Chinese in Chinese symbols, right? Then you don't even need to learn how to speak the language. You just need to know how to read and write it. And then you could communicate to any Chinese person, no matter what language they speak, because they use the same exact written language. And I'm sure there's probably different slight regional variations, but because there is a big Chinese state, there would necessarily be like some kind of probably, I guess, maybe like a regulatory body that makes sure that there is a common written language. So it's not.
It's a shit ton of languages having the same written language.
Yeah, they got the same writing system, and somehow I don't know how the fuck it works, but it does. It's intercommunicable. It can be understood by anyone.
It's probably because it's so ancient and it has a shit ton of symbols.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, though. I hadn't thought of it that way. Mm-hmm.
And Japanese, Koreans also understand Chinese written language?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for Korean, it's a little different.
I think Korean is different, right?
Different.
They have their own.
Yeah. Some king or something literally just made a language. And was like, hey, you have to learn how to read and write this. And it's way simpler. Isn't it like an alphabet? I think it's like an alphabet or something. I'm not sure. Because each symbol would be its own sound. Whereas for Chinese, each symbol is an idea. And since ideas are the same across all languages, like, if you have an idea for a horse or something, or an idea for a mountain, it's the same because a mountain is a mountain, whether you're from fucking Italy or from fucking New Guinea or some shit like that, which is pretty cool. I legitimately...
We gotta learn Chinese, dude.
I would legitimately like to see a new universal written language system based on something like that.
I'm not learning any new languages. I'm old.
Yeah, but think about the kind of communication this would facilitate between all the international proletariat. All they got to do is just learn this.
Well, that's the problem for the future generations.
Yeah. Of course, you're just gonna kick it down the fucking road, bastard.
Wasn't there already a language where people they created a whole new language that was simpler for everyone to learn, called like Esperanto?
Yeah, but that's like Eurocentric.
Yeah, but I guess that was but Esperanto was spoken as well, right? It wasn't just a written system, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying a written, purely just a written system that would work in any language. And I imagine Chinese would technically work in English. Like the Chinese written language. I don't know the technical term for it, but
They're called pictographs.
Yeah, pictographs. There we go.
The thing is, the languages in the Western world evolved from pictographs like 2,000 years ago to like a more Greek than Latin. The Phoenician alphabet started out as like Egyptian pictographs, and we moved to like Phoenician and then like Greek to Latin, based on alphabet letters. Why do you think we did that?
because it's probably a little easier to learn how to read. You know, because you don't have to learn basically a new word for every idea. You can because if it's specific to your own language, like for English, if you can speak English but you can't read it, you can learn how to read English relatively quickly by learning how to what the sounds
true.
each letter would make. You know, I mean, so it's all about different trade-offs and shit. You know, because with Chinese, everyone can like communicate to each other in writing, even if they can't speak the same language. You know, but in English, everyone can
I have a
learn
question.
it relatively quickly.
How what were the literacy rates of China before the communist revolution?
Probably quite poor, I would imagine. Come to
Yeah, it was like 15 to 25%. Let's see, here we go.
Yeah, because mostly the upper class were the ones heavily educated in like written language and stuff, and like scribes. Like, because Turkey switched to a Latin alphabet because it was easier to increase literacy.
Yeah. Prior to
It said illiteracy was like 85 to 90% in China before the revolution.
Yeah.
80 to 90%. Oh, illiteracy. Okay.
Illiteracy, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, literacy, where was that? I was like, oh shit. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
No, illiteracy. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Dude, it's a huge educational effort. Yeah.
In 1982, compulsory education was written
Not even
into
all of the
Chinese
U.S. is like literate.
Hold on, I gotta know what the U.S. literacy rate is. U.S. literacy rate 2021. Let's fucking go. 99%.
Oh, that's cool. I thought it used to be lower than
Yeah,
that.
so it's about on par with Russia.
Yeah, because like right now, if you can't read and write, you're basically useless in society.
Yeah. Well, not really.
Dude, now it's up to 97% in China.
97% ain't bad considering they started in 1949. You know?
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of it is very recent. Because in 1982, the literacy rate was 65%. So most of it's been in the last 4 decades.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I wonder if it's because like the Chinese language the written language is probably really hard.
You just have to remember the characters.
There's a lot of characters, Campbell. You keep saying
Yeah,
this.
that's the issue. But you can, you know, you can learn like a couple hundred, and that's no issue. I don't think that human beings have like a fucking max capacity of 26 characters so they can learn. You know,
It's a lot easier than 100.
Yeah, but with 26, you can go across the entire country and be able to read anything. Sorry, with 100 or something, you can go across the country and read anything in those 26 characters, and it'll make sense no matter who the fuck wrote it. So, I don't know. That's got to have like implications for the whole society. I feel like.
I think. So you know how during the whole nationalist period in Europe and like everywhere. Before that, all the different, like, they're mostly empires made of, like, smaller, like, regions. They all had their own dialects and alphabets and, like, written languages. So during the whole nationalist period they're building, they fucking destroyed all those little languages and cultures to make a nationalized, like, version.
Yeah, like, they try to eradicate Basque or something.
No, I'm also the French. There's, like, a couple different smaller French languages as well, and, like, German.
Yeah, like Occitan and something else. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah. We could probably ask Jeff about it.
He's the one who told us about it before.
Yeah. I mean, I knew about it a few years ago. It always bothered me that the French had done something like that, and then I was like, wait a minute. But we did it too. Because otherwise, how the fuck do we all speak English? You know? It didn't just, like, randomly happen. I mean, this was before I was a leftist. You know?
Oh, fun fact, German was the second most widely spoken language in the U.S. until World War I.
I wonder what happened there.
A little cultural genocide. Yeah, the U.S. government shut down German schools and German newspapers and forced all the German speakers to only speak English.
It's a little bit fucking crazy.
Interesting.
Yep. Because they couldn't trust those dirty Germans not to betray them for the Kaiser. That's white supremacy for you.
You know what's crazy?
You know what's... What?
Burkina Faso is number 4 on the lowest literacy rates in the world of 28%.
Damn, that's sad.
Fucked up. The lowest would be South Sudan of 27, and then there's Afghanistan 28.1, and then Niger with 28.7. That is fucked.
They need a little communism. The global literacy rate for all males is 90%. The rate for all women is 82.7%. Hey, North Korea has a 100% literacy rate.
100%?
Yeah. 100 fucking percent.
Winning!
See, I still feel like that's a little unlikely because, like, China's got more... I mean, I guess China's got a bazillion more people, though. So, China would have harder.
Yeah, China, very different system than North Korea.
Didn't you just say Korean was easier to learn than Chinese, Camel?
Yeah, Korean's probably a lot easier to learn. Yeah. So, I mean, I can see it because it's literally like sounds that already exist in Korean that you're just putting together in different ways. Like, as long as you know, yeah, okay. Of course, obviously. All right.
I like how all the former Eastern Bloc and Soviet countries all have super high literacy rates, and all the former socialist countries.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what the literacy rate is in, like, former East Germany versus former West Germany. That would be interesting to see. I bet I could just look that shit up.
Yeah, that's probably available, dude.
Literacy.
But it might have been both super high.
Yeah.
Yeah, because West Germany is very wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and East Germany was pretty decently well-run socialist state, all things considered.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think in one of the books by what's his name again that you love so much. He talks about how people liked how East Germany was ran. The bureaucracy and stuff was actually way better than like Canada and shit.
Immigration drives cracks in Democratic coalition. So the
you feel those cracks make them all citizens.
Do what?
Make every immigrant a citizen who shows up at the border like we used to do.
Fuck it, do it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, we need these people paying into Social Security, Camel. Otherwise, we won't have money when we're old.
I used to, like...
Think about our futures as Americans.
Before I was a leftist... Yeah. Before I was a leftist, I was like, yeah, dude, just... If you want to come over to America, I don't even care if you come over illegally. Just come over here, and you could become an American. Fuck yeah. This country should become the best ever. Because we could just, like, make it that way. You know? Like, stupid lib shit like that. But...
That's how things used to be. They used to let anyone come in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Like... And I would always... Like, whenever my dad would complain about illegal immigrants, like, taking our jobs, they took our jobs and shit like that, I'd always ask him, like, okay, but, like... How? Did they like walk in with a net and just steal your job?
Get away, dude.
They just walked in with some cops and just.
They say
Heated
that,
it right
then
out of
like
your
all the jobs they
hands.
take are shitty jobs no one wants to do.
Yeah. So like I already knew it was like bullshit, but
It's like, dude, no one took your job. You weren't taking that job. It was fucking vacant.
Exactly.
well, it's like
No
at
one
the
wants to
time-
fucking pick fruit.
or-
No one
well,
wants
it's
to fucking clean toilets.
one of my best friends is an illegal immigrant, so I could never like rationalize being against illegal immigration.
Wanting to send them back to
You
Mexico.
know? Because I benefit from it in like a very social sense. Because if it was like tightly restricted and there was no illegal immigration, I'd lose out on like legit like good friends.
Let's say the border in the U.S. used to be more elastic, and we let anyone in from Mexico, and all they did was fucking work here for a few months on the farms, then go back to Mexico. But when they put the border up, they're like, we can't go back now. We have to stay here, and that's when the illegal immigration became an actual thing people were complaining about because all the Mexicans all had to stay here. They couldn't go back home.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, if they just opened up the border and let people come and go as they please, there wouldn't be a whole bunch of people here illegally, quotes. Because most people would just go back home with the money they make here.
Yeah.
Why do you hate Mexicans, Camel?
Huh? What? I love Mexicans. Hispanic people are unironically the best. The only issue is fucking like being ultra conservative, but I mean that goes the same for anywhere.
And hella racist.
Dude, oh my god, my friend's mom is so fucking racist, dude. She'd fucking complain about like black people in Spanish, and I'd know she was complaining because she'd use the fucking N-word.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, what the
It's
fuck?
like this guy takes like 20 seconds too long to air up his tires at a fucking gas station, and somehow he's like scum of the earth. It's like, well, come on, man. He's just trying to fucking unfuck his shit, dude.
People need to chill.
Yeah. And then my friend's just like, sorry, my mom's
My
a little
Republic,
fucking
you're Hispanic.
racist."
Why are Hispanics so racist?
I'm sorry, my parents are a little fucking racist.
Yeah, sorry, dude. His dad isn't as bad as his mom. I don't even know if his dad's racist at all, but his mom is fucking, oh my gosh. She's like super nice. I had to stay with them for a while, and like first day I wake up and she just like brings in a hot chocolate. I'm like, huh? What?
Nice.
Camel,
Yeah.
imagine if you were black, she wouldn't let you stay there.
She might have. She might have.
Probably would not have, dude.
Oh yeah, true.
She would have let you stay there for a night and like get this N-word out of my house in Spanish.
Jesus.
The dude's dad was fucking wacky, bro. One of my friends, we were all driving down a highway at night, and my friend hits a big old fucking bump and his car dies. He's driving a shitty old Ford Focus or something. And then we have to call my Mexican friend's dad because he's the car expert. And it's like 1 a.m. So he comes out. He's already pissed. He looks at the car. He looks under the hood, and oh no, it's your fucking battery cable's loose, bro. And my friend was so embarrassed. I think all of us were embarrassed because it was just like, I don't know, man. He didn't know that his own battery cable was loose because it's all corroded and shit. So all he had to do was get a new post for it. Unscrew that shit and screw the new one in. But that dude came out at like 1 a.m. and he fixed it. And then we went on our merry way. We never talked about it again.
Kind of racist, Camel.
You're racist?
You're racist.
How am I racist?
You have all these Hispanics working for you for free.
They weren't working for me. Plus, I already just paid them back whenever I borrowed money from them. Which was like 2 times. I got a fucking job. But yeah, no, because look, I've got two white friends and a Mexican friend, like in real life, you know, and that's about it. That's all I've got. You know, so yeah, two of them are fucking weebs, and the other one is just insane.
So you have two racist friends and an insane friend?
Well, see, I don't know if he's racist. He works for the cops, though, so, you know, maybe
Yeah,
he
he's
is. Fuck! All my
cops
friends
are
are
bastards.
racist. Oh no, they are. I fucking poured my heart out. I was fucking ranting at my best friend about how, like, cops are fucking shit and they don't deserve their fucking jobs and we can literally do better than cops. He's like, but, like, if there was a meth house that exploded next to you, wouldn't you rather them have gotten busted by cops? It's like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, society at large. Society at large is not full of meth houses
Also,
that explode
no.
next door. Yeah, like, what the fuck? They need to go to rehab or
You could also
something.
spend that money instead of on cops on stuff. Yeah, we could literally spend that money to prevent people from becoming meth addicts and giving the people who are meth addicts treatment instead of raiding their house and making their life shit.
Yeah. These dudes don't even know I was fucking homeless. I didn't even tell them. They still act this way. So what happens when I tell them I was homeless? What are they gonna do? Be like, oh, well, yeah, because you fucking lazy.
They might, or they might change their minds.
Yeah,
Who knows?
true. Ah, shit. The fucking laptop fan started to scream at me, so I'll be right back.
Alright, so. How long has this been going on now? We're like an hour in. I guess we'll end it here. Do you want to shout anything out to these people? Do you have anything you want to say to the audience at large?
Nah. I'll think about it.
This is, well, you want to tell them why they should be all Marxist-Leninists when they made it this far?
People should at least learn about Marxism and Marxism-Leninism because it has greater explanatory power than, like, any other quote-unquote ideology or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's more of an analysis than anything else. And so it helps inform what these socialist policies and, like, actually changing the world would actually look like in practice. And that's all I got.
Because it's more based on the material realities. Yeah, it's more about the material realities.
Yeah. Like, it's literally an analysis of reality. It's not an abstract debate about morality or whatever the fuck. And it has actually led to, like, we were just talking about the literacy rate in China going from 90% illiterate to 97% literate. And that happened within the analysis of Marxism-Leninism and Marxist-Leninists. That's what made that happen.
Didn't Cuba also have...
And so if you're interested in actually doing this in practice, then yeah.
Yeah, Cuba had similar results as well. Like, Fidel had, like, educated all the kids and had the kids teach all their parents how to read, and, like, all the adults.
Yeah, huge literacy campaigns in every communist country, because when you're trying to liberate people, you need them. You know, you need to share the achievements of civilization, like reading and literacy, to the people that don't have it. And the only system and analysis that provides the motivation for that at these, like, junctions in history during revolutions and stuff is Marxism-Leninism. And so you have to start asking yourself why that was, and, like, why the fucking communists were usually on the right side, fighting against everyone else, at the site that was actually creating change in real life. And even when it wasn't communist-led, the analysis was still invaluable to some of these other movements that are in like explicitly Marxist-Leninist or even communist, but still have benefited from the Marxist analysis of capitalism and of society in general. And I think now that like China is rising and the U.S. is in decline, and the geopolitics are changing so quickly, it's even more valuable.
I think it's quite interesting that the Marxism in the West split it into different camps in the early 20th century. You had the social democrats in the West, then the Bolsheviks, and who later became the Marxist-Leninists in the East, had like completely different outcomes, like towards how their societies merged.
Yeah,
like,
and the split in a way, like I think it's just a consequence of imperialism that allowed the imperialist left to develop along those lines, like social democratic liberal lines, because the labor aristocracy in the West, like the basis of the leftist movement in the West, was benefiting from imperialism and was a privileged working class as well. They were able to align themselves with imperialism and come up with these like insane ideological
class collaborators,
mind games to justify, to justify their class collaboration. And in some cases, like even the movements, like the anti-imperialist movements in the West were always marginalized. The ones that held the actually correct political line about how the world was working, because it contradicted the premise of the Western left. So, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that the split happened or developed along those ways. Like, I was just reading Engels, writing about the working class in England, which was the first thing he wrote, like, super early on. And he had already identified a labor aristocracy in England that aligned itself with imperialists. But it still used the language of the labor movement, but it was completely aligned with the imperialists. And it's the same shit, it's just on a global scale. So, the same thing happened back then, and it's nothing new. Like even Engels called it out early.
It's funny because like later on, you had Bernstein in the Social Democratic Party, which was like founded by was it Marx that founded the Social Democrats, or like his like more or less ardent followers? But yeah, like Bernstein in the early like late 19th century, early 20th century, who wrote heavily on like reformist policies, and he was criticized by like Rosa. Like all the criticisms were pretty valid because they went heavily with Bernstein's reform policies in like Western Europe, where you focus heavily on co-ops, labor unions, along with like reining in capital's worst habits and like that sort of stuff. And it really went nowhere and fundamentally changed society.
Exactly, and I mean that's why they called Bernstein revisionism. It wasn't that he was trying to like; it was that he was going against like what actual Marxism was, and so trying to give it this this heretic view that like the class struggle was over or whatever, and collaboration was the name of the game.
You know what's funny is
what allows
fascists.
the Western left to exist and maintain its
The fascists believe heavily in class collaboration and believing class doesn't exist and only the race does.
What's that? Oh, like race.
So fascists don't believe in class distinctions, but only believe in racial. So they're heavily in class collaborators, which kind of explains why in Germany, after the failure of the communist revolution, that a lot of the left aligned themselves with the Nazis, who ended up getting purged later on.
Right. Yeah, but I think I don't know. I don't even know if those. What was I gonna say? I forgot. But I don't even know if we'll see like movements like that are totally race realist. taking a lot of strength here in the U.S., but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Just because like the people that have the money are kind of liberal, and I feel like you need the oligarchs to be race realists for race realism to manifest
It seems like
so strongly. But we'll see.
well, you have like Tucker Carlson and like a lot of the oil like and libertarian billionaires funding like super racist politicians. Well, not like out like super white supremacists, but like the standard American white supremacy, not the whole super racist white supremacy, like the more nefarious white supremacy. Because they all openly reject like
Right.
they reject the more Nazi white supremacy.
That form of it for sure. Yeah, like that'll continue to exist for a while. Yeah, that form of it for sure. Yeah. But class collaboration goes, it can go either way. Like the national liberation struggles, a lot of them were class collaborationists as well. But the leadership of the the leadership in many cases was able to be socialist, and it could like direct the whole effort to some extent, even though there was class collaboration. So I don't know. It all depends on context, I guess.
Well, I think did Cuba have class collaboration with like their national like independence more or less from like from U.S. when they were overthrowing U.S. involvement? Because it seemed like the Batista and like the other oligarchs in Cuba were like heavily supported by the U.S.
Yeah, so the majority of the oligarchs and stuff were tied up with the Batista corruption system that was basically fed by the U.S. But Fidel himself and his family came from a relatively well-off background. Early on, they basically go to the Cuban Revolution is a weird one because these people that kind of had money were kind of a kulak class, maybe like medium landowners, as well as college-educated people going to the countryside, gaining the support of the peasantry that was getting this, because they were so exploited by Batista.
Getting super fucked.
And then coming back. Yeah, they were just so fucked that they were able to gain the support of them by helping them out and stuff. And but there was an urban movement as well in the cities that was not led by Fidel, but was working with Fidel and like as part of the overall 26th of July movement. And if I remember correctly, like that urban movement, which was super important, but like basically a lot of them got wiped out by Batista because they were in the most dangerous areas. Like basically, this part of the Cuban struggle that people don't know that much about was actually the more bloody one, because in Fidel was in the countryside, like holding territory and defending it. But these people were like in the middle of the city, like where the army barracks were and shit, going clandestine.
Like had nowhere to hide.
Bombs. Yeah, nowhere to hide. And they were doing operations like they were gathering money to help the effort in the countryside led by Fidel. They were in some cases, I'm pretty sure they put bombs and shit trying to take down some of the collaborators between the U.S. and Batista. And they were acting as like almost cells hidden throughout the cities in support of the Cuban Revolution in the countryside. And from what I remember, that movement and that urban movement was kind of mixed. Like it had like educated people, medium landowners, and like college students and shit. So there was some class collaboration, like, and it didn't really declare itself to be openly communist until after the movement had already gained power. So there wasn't even an attempt to make it seem like a specific class was in charge.
That reminds me, in one of the fucking anarchist books I read, he explained why you saw in like Russia and like in a lot of the Europe, all of the leftist theoreticians were all highly educated and rich people. It's because they were born into money. Their family could afford to educate them, so they read and were able to learn about these systems So it makes sense that like the educated people in like the third world and like developing countries were the ones leading the revolutions because they actually had the time and and they didn't have to work
Yeah.
as hard. Like work as hard.
They actually
Yeah.
had time to think about this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So you usually
for
see
sure.
revolutions led by
It tends to be from
The
classes
petty
that have
bourgeois.
some form of autonomy.
yeah. Because like if you're working all day, you don't have time to think about this shit. That's
I
why
think it
it's
totally
like I
makes
feel
sense.
like in the
There's
U.S.
gonna
the
be-
whole well, because like in the U.S. people try to make education the dividing line instead of like class. They like blame the educated elites for everything, but the education is not the dividing factor. That's my opinion, at least. Because usually there's a quote about fascism. So the intelligentsia fascists are just people who lack the courage to side with the working class.
That actually makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah,
Because they're educated enough to know that something's, that the system acts a certain way, but they're too cowardly to do anything about it or too committed to the project. That's a cool way of
it's
looking
easier
at it.
for them to just collaborate with a fascist.
And Mao
yeah.
Mao did the same, right? But Mao was like in that essay it's a speech of Mao talking to the Latin American communists, and it's called "Unite All the Forces," and he's talking about precisely this, like how the national liberation struggles to be able to defeat and win needed to create like broad alliances with as many classes as possible and many groups as possible. So so he was talking about like national capitalists that have a stake in the actual national project versus the capitalists that were just collaborating with empire at the cost of the national project, which was to be fair, in Latin America, I think most of them were compradors. So like the capitalists were just they were completely integrated to the imperialist machine. There was no national project that they were taking a part of. It was just selling out the national project. But he's talking about it very explicitly, like about how in China they created alliances with the peasants and the artisans that were independent, so they weren't exploiting anyone, and he goes group by group. And the same thing there's an interview with this venture capitalist from China talking to these Hong Kong reporters or whatever. Most of them were American, I think. But he told them that basically from what I remember, that the CPC basically blames the fall of the Soviet Union, at least partly, like it blames one of the main problems in the Soviet Union on the fact that they weren't able to maintain the loyalty of the like PMC equivalent class, so like educated professionals and the intelligentsia, essentially. That there was no, especially students, like the younger generations of intelligentsia, that they weren't really given a stake in the national project, so they were more open to siding with the West, or at least being susceptible to their propaganda. And how the CPC was trying to combat that by increasing the number of young professionals and college educated people, like explicitly trying to bring them more into the party to avoid that from happening in the future. I definitely think there's, you can see that as a way of class collaboration, except it's all within this overarching project that's basically led by a working class state.
Yeah, because I feel like education doesn't inherently make someone at a higher class than someone else. It's something like it seems like it's a thing in capitalism, but even in capitalism, you don't really need a higher education to actually get anywhere. It's mostly just luck.
True, that's true. And a lot of these educations, what goes for education, it's not about critical thinking or anything. Like it's just trying to make you a better wage slave.
Yeah, exactly. All you need to do is memorize this shit, take a test on it. You need to be able to just like stay in your lane. can you do this meaningless task for 8 hours in school? Yeah, you'll be great wage slave. Don't question anything.
Exactly. Oh shit, dude, I gotta go.
All right, thanks.
Anyway, it was good to talk to you, dude. Finally.
Oh, this will be the end.
For all
Finally. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I'll like, comment, subscribe.
Talk to you later, man.
Bye.